Hey, CMattDye here. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking out the video. And today I want to do the top 5 CNFTs of the week. The CNFT market has been on fire in October. Now, when I say that, some of you guys are going to be like, but it's been on fire in a small segment of the CNFT market. You have a lot of new projects struggling. Some seasoned projects are struggling, but then some of your blue chip projects are just doing awesome. They're doing very, very good. Let's talk about the volume real quick, and then we'll get into the actual top 5. So if we get into the volume here, this is the overall volume of the CNFT market. And you can see here, this was October. First time over 1 million since August here. So that was very interesting. September was pretty dismal. So October the 6th here, you had the 12th and the 15th, which was yesterday. So we've had some decent volume here, and a lot of that is people finding out about CNFTs coming from other blockchains like Ethereum, for example, and coming in and just buying, excuse me, buying the blue chips. If we look day over day, trades NFT solds are up, but volume is actually down. That tells me that people are buying lower priced stuff. So they're trying to find undervalued projects. Week over week is the exact same. NFT sold trades are both up while volume is down. And we look month over month, we have volume up, trades and NFT sold are up because overall people are coming in to space to buy blue chip projects, and I'm going to get into the top 5. I'm going to talk about why that is and talk about blue chips a little bit more. Again, let's go back to overall volume. Uh, Taking a little while, whatever. So we can see over here in May, even early June, basically from January to early June, the market was decent, and then it just took a dive and had a little struggles, and now we're getting this little bit of a pop. Now, what's this most likely going to turn into? Most likely, it's going to turn into a little run. The blue chips are going to do well. Then it's going to go to probably the more undervalued ones. One that I got into recently was Go Tribe, and that floor has been pumping a little bit, which is interesting to see. But that is another seasoned project that, once people get like their Ape Societies, Clay Nation, SpaceBudz, Chill Kongs, just to name a few projects, once they get those, then they can start looking for some other projects. And I thought that was going to be one of the next ones, and it's been doing pretty well. But I think that's what's going to happen. So you're going to see this volume trend continue a little bit and then probably start to fall off again. I'm thinking maybe next year, maybe into January, February, something like that. We could see some volume start to fall off a little bit. And I think that coincides with the overall crypto market. We could get a little bit of a pump soon. And when I say soon, it could start now, it could start many weeks from now, but most likely sometime. This is the 16th of October as I'm recording this. Most likely sometime in October. It pumps a little bit and then it comes back down. That would be totally okay. That would kind of coincide with the CNFT market. However, those two don't have to be correlated. They could be mutually exclusive. One do one thing, the other do the other thing. The CNFT market is a little bit of a bubble inside of the crypto market. And when I say bubble, I don't mean that it's overinflated. I mean that it doesn't necessarily go with the overall market. Is what I mean there. I know bubble has a different connotation, but that's what I mean. So let's get into the top 5. So if we look at top sells, these are all Ape Society. Ape Society is doing fantastic. Clumsy Ghost, Lunatics, Makosi, Lovelace is a new project that just came out recently. It's kind of an interesting project. I know it's not in the top 5, but it is a project that if you log in with your wallet, you'll be able to talk to other wallets. At least that's the theory. I logged on to it, and I think it might be in beta right now. I'm not exactly sure, but anyway, that is the concept. Let's get into the top five. So, number one, no surprise, Ape Society. Ape Society. Number two, no surprise, is Cabins by Ape Society. Those are going crazy right now. Number three, SpaceBudz. Number four, Chilled Kongs. Number five, Clay Nation. And shout out number eight, Mutants. Number nine, Journey. And number 10, Econos. 11, Dirtbirds. 12, Introverts. 13, Ghost Chain. 14, Boss Cat Alien Club. 15, The Mallard Order. Then you have Derp Apes, Cornucopias, and Go Tribe down here at 18. Dead Rabbit Resurrection Society at 19, and Boss Cat Rocket Club at 20. Now, what's common with most of these? There are seasoned projects. You can argue Mallard Order it came out not that long ago, but it does seem more like a seasoned project to me. Um, Econos came out a little while ago, but they're kind of seasoned. Introverts is definitely getting a lot of support behind it. Uh, Cornucopias, definitely. Dead Rabbit Resurrection Society isn't that old of a project, but it also seems more like a seasoned project to me. Okay, so let's get into the top five without any further ado. Ape Society at 6,200 floor. That is fantastic. 1.1 million volume, and this is over a 1 week period. If we go to the Ape Society, of course, same all-time high sell at 107,000 ADA. Floor price is telling me 6,200. So if we go here, just a few days ago, like let's say September 14th, September 22nd, it was below a 2000 ADA floor, and it just rocketed higher. Now, what is the reason for that? There's a couple different factors for that. One factor, and this is not in any order, one factor is people coming from other blockchains like Ethereum. A lot of the people that are coming into CNFTs right now, you have a few new people, but a lot of the ones buying the blue chips, they're coming in from Ethereum. They're coming in from other blockchains. They're coming in. They're trying to find, well, what are the blue chips? And most of them have been watching the CNFT market. They were just waiting, and they're seeing all these upgrades happening to Cardano. They're seeing good things happening in the space, and they come in, they buy blue chips, and what does that do? It drives price up because of the demand. The other reason, the other factor of Ape Society is they're actually doing things. So they just came out with staking recently, and even more recent than that, they came out with staking of other NFTs. So you can stake in an Ape Society, in an ape frame. You have to own a cabin, you have to buy a frame, and then you can stake some NFTs that are not apes, and you can get your society token. Now, it's not going to be a lot. You're probably going to be around 2 to 4 society per day, which is decent. So it's going to cost 750 society for a level one or level zero frame. I think it starts at zero. So your first frame, 750 ADA, and then you can upgrade it with society token. But just know that if you don't have an ape, you're gonna get about 2 to 4 society per day. Um, so I know people had some questions about that. I know I had a question about that in the beginning. If you have an ape, it's definitely worth it. 100%. If you have an ape, get your cabin, get your frame, and stake it. 100% worth it. If you don't have an ape, you have to figure out what is worth it for you. Buying a cabin, buying a frame, is that worth it? Um, you got to look at your own situation. To me, I would not buy a cabin. I would not buy a frame if I don't have an ape. So if I want to stake a non-ape, but that is, do your own research. Do you, and I will do me, basically. But anyway, Ape Society is doing big things. Shout out to the team over there, and the pump is real. It's going to continue. Eventually, it'll weaken a little bit, but I think this trend is going to continue, and Ape Society's going crazy. So that's my thoughts on that. Let's go to the cabins. So the cabins, like I said, you have to own a cabin to be able to stake your ape or a non-ape NFT. And they do have quite a bit of non-ape NFTs that you can stake. I think it's and don't quote me on this, I think it's 2 frames for the lower cabin. For the mid-tier cabin, I think it's 4, and for the upper tier, the chateau, I believe they call it, I I really don't remember. So it's somewhere between like 6 and 10, I think. But yeah, go on their Discord and find out if you're interested. I'm a fan of Ape Society. I've been a fan of Ape Society for quite a while. I think I was a buyer around, actually it had to have been over here somewhere. I think it was right around here I started buying, and this, actually it had to have been over here. Yeah. I don't remember. I'll look it up. But yeah, I was a buyer somewhere around April or May, I want to say. Possibly in June as well. So April, May, June, it was somewhere in there. I was a buyer of apes. And oh, I'm on the wrong chart. Gosh. Live streams, huh? All right. So yeah, I was a buyer actually right around here. It was in March. It was definitely in March. I was a buyer. So my apologies about that. I was on the wrong chart. It is what it is. I'm getting over. I just got over being sick recently, and apparently my brain is not there yet. So yeah, I was a buyer over here in March. Let's go back to the cabins. The cabins have definitely pumped recently, and I think the majority of that is due to staking. A little small amount of that is probably people just buying apes. You buy an ape, you buy a cabin. Makes sense. But the majority of that is people wanting to stake. And these are long term holders. The Ape Society community, a lot of them are diamond handers. They're holding the apes. And if you stake an ape, you're getting a lot more society. I'm not going to go into the details of that, but if you stake an ape, you're getting more society, and most of the people who are staking apes are long-term diamond handers. And that's one thing I like about the Ape Society community is a lot of them are diamond handers. They're holding their apes. I met a guy, he's like, I own one ape. I don't have a lot of money. It's worth 60,000 ADA. I'm not selling it. He was adamant about that. And that's how a lot of the community is. They're diamond handers, they're holding, and they're very long-term oriented. And that's what you want in a project. So these cabins pumping, people are totally okay buying them at 400, 500 ADA because they're thinking 3, 4, 5 years down the road, maybe 10 years down the road. They're not thinking about tomorrow. So highest cabin sell so far, 10,000 ADA. That was a little while ago, but the team's doing stuff. So I like Ape Society. They're a good project, they're a quality project, and they're definitely a blue chip in the CNFT space. So now let's go to SpaceBudz. What SpaceBudz doing? Um, if you look at the chart, it looks sad. But if you look at the project itself, it's doing things. The team behind the project and definitely doing things. I have a lot of belief in them as well. Ape Society, a lot of belief. SpaceBudz, a lot of belief. Um, All-time high sell 510,000 ADA. That's nothing to cough at. It's a legit number. 31.99 is the floor. It popped down to around that 2,500 area, and I told everybody, I'm a buyer at this area. I like it a lot, and it's been popping off of that. So it came down. You had 2,500 floored over here, 2,450, and it didn't last very long at all. Right now, it's trying to hold that 3,000 level. Is it going to? I don't know. And it doesn't really matter to me because SpaceBudz are a very long-term project. Now, I've been a, trader investor for a long time, and where you buy at is important to me, and, where I sell at is important. But if it's a project that I believe in long term, then the buy point matters, but it doesn't necessarily matter long term. So, if you get in at 2,500, let's say it goes down in 2,000, would I be mad, sad, angry? I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care because I said 2,500 was my buy point. That's where I got in. Now, if anything else happens, that's fine. That's fine. If it drops down to 2,000, is that likely? I don't think so. I don't think that's likely, but it could happen. Anything can happen. There's no guarantees in trading, and the CNFT market is a trading market. You buy and sell. That's what it is. That's what markets are. So I'm totally comfortable, and I'm just gonna watch it. I don't really have any predictions at the moment. However, if it does hold 3,000, let's say it stays above, because right now it's at 31.99. So if it holds that 3,000 level, it can start to push up a little bit, and then it can start to put in a base probably around that 3,000, 3,500, maybe 3,000, 3,800 area. But right now, I'm just kind of watching it. I don't really have a lot of uh, conviction one way or the other. If it drops back down to that 2,500, maybe it gets down to 2,300. That's a good place to buy if you don't own one. But I don't think it's going to go that much lower than that. I think 3,000 can put in a nice floor right now for SpaceBudz, 3,000 plus. So that's what I'm looking for with that. I know they're doing some good things, and you know, that whole thing about the artwork was a really good time to get into the project. That's my thoughts. I've said that before, but just to reiterate. So that's Space Buds. Let's go to Chilled Kongs. Chilled Kongs all-time high sell 135,000, floor price of 1920. What is Chilled Kongs doing? Well, they had a lot of negative press, basically. I would say probably the end of August all the way down to current days. They're still talking about everything. Um, it was some stuff that kind of didn't even matter, I don't think. But everybody kept talking about it and kept talking about it and kept talking about it. And there was no real, from what I've heard, seen, there's no real end result. They're just talking about it. However, people come in, they see Chilled Kongs, and Chilled Kongs is also building a very, very strong community. And you saw this rocket up from the 1,000 price, 950 floor. And I was looking for that 800 to 1,000 zone, and it actually rocketed up. Now, I'm not saying that I'm smart because I was looking for this zone and now it's bought up. No, never. I wouldn't say that because we don't know where the market's going. All we can do is predict based on any probabilities that we have. It's like playing poker. You put your probabilities in your favor and go with it. That's what trading is. So I'm not trying to say that, but that was a very good area to get in. 1,500, I still think this is a fine area. Because Chilled Kongs, when they do come out with their magic mushrooms, I think it will push that price up, and you do have a strong community in Chilled Kongs, and I think eventually that floor is going to go a little bit higher. It could in the short term maybe come down a little bit, but I think that 1,000 floor, we might not see 1,000 again. We might see 1,000 again. And what I'm saying is that 800 to 1,000 is a great place to accumulate if you're wanting to accumulate Kongs. I highly doubt it goes lower. It can, but my thoughts, I kind of don't think it will go lower. You have a strong community. This move up is pretty strong. 1085 to 1960 was the initial push, and then you had a little bit of a pullback from there. That's a decent amount of ADA, over 900 ADA. That's or slightly less than 900, so 885 or whatever. Um, decent move. Right now, the floor is at 1920. That's pretty decent. If it gets over 2000, that's what I'm really watching. If it gets over 2000, does it stay over? Does it get over it and stay over a little bit? Does it get over it and come back down? It's going to be interesting, but I think Chilled Kongs is a pretty decent project overall. So basically, SpaceBudz and Chilled Kongs both had some negative news, which brought that price down and allowed people who weren't in the project to get a better price to get into it. So that's my thoughts on that. I think they're very strong projects. Out of the three, I think Ape Society is probably the best. But now getting into number five, Clay Nation. This is my favorite. You guys know if you watch the channel, this is my favorite project. Well, out of the ones I've spoken about so far, 100,000 ADA all-time high sell, 2,800 floor price. And if we look at this, that looks basically a 2,300 floor price. So 2,300, 2,500 was that zone, and now it's pushing up a little bit. And it's not doing so demonstratively, but I do think the project is doing decently. Holding over 2,300, 2,500, holding over that is pretty good in its own. You can see over here, you know, it kind of just it's kind of just there as a project. And then they released that news that CMattDye and Snoop Dogg were getting on board. They were doing a collab, and it just shot up and just, never really looked back. It never really looked back. In the market that we're in, it just never looked back. So I think that's really strong. That's really bullish. And Clay's and Ape Society are probably the two best projects as far as floor, as far as like holding up. Now, Ape Society is taking off while Clay's are going sideways, but they're both holding up very well. So it looks really good. Definitely a big Clay fan. Floor right now is 2,800. We can see over here, where was it, over 3,000 over here. So if it does, I don't think it's going to right now, but it could come down a little bit and then move higher. And then when it gets over that 3,000 floor price, that's what I'm going to be watching. When it gets over that, does it get over that, and does it hold above it a little bit? And then that could actually be interesting. So that's what I'm looking at with that. Now, what have I done recently? I got into Go Tribe, like I said. Bought a couple sills a couple weeks ago. That was my last time that I swept the floor when it was down around that like 55, 60 area. I swept the floor a couple times. What else did I do? I bought Gentleman's Club Gent nodes on the last mint. I don't have a ton of faith in that project, but I don't know much about it. I've looked at it. I don't know if I trust the team yet or not, but I figured it was worth taking a flyer on. So that's what I did with that. And I've been buying a few tokens. Talk about a couple of them in the Discord, and then just making a few trades in the crypto market like I do that in the Discord as well. So anyway, that's the top 5. Hopefully you enjoyed it. You got something out of the video. If you did, comment section below. If you have a project that you would like me to do a video on, throw that in the comment section below, because outside of these top 5s, I will usually do individual projects. So appreciate that. If you like the video, thumbs up would be much appreciated. Hit that bell notification so you can hear other videos of mine in the future. With that, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here in the crypto market. Take care.